Good morning, and we are live. Let's get right into it. Let's dig right into it. This is going to be a good one today. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. Let's do this. Good morning. Yet forgive me, I'm losing my voice a little bit today. I was out late last night with the Hunt County, Texas Democratic Party. They are some good people, man. They put on a spread. I got to tell you, they know how to, I'm telling you folks, you have to get involved with your local county Democratic Party. It is a good time. And Chandra, thanks for popping in. We had one of our regulars today. Beautiful card. It really was. I love it. I love it. It's just a beautiful card. Thank you for the coffee. I appreciate you. Just popped in to say howdy. I wish you could have stayed. I know the schedule wouldn't allow it, but you should have hung out with us. It was a really, really good time. And it was a Christmas party / coat drive for one of the local schools. They collected over 200 brand spanking new coats, for the local school, kids that's Democrats for you. That's just Democrats for you. They're just doing the work. Well, look, we got a lot to talk about, so let's dig into it. This is Jekyll Island, Georgia. It is a absolutely beautiful place. It's one of those places that you don't have to be super wealthy to go visit. It's right here in the country, easy to travel to. It's in Glenn County, Georgia. It's just, I got several pictures for you. Beautiful white beaches. There are resorts there. There are high-end resorts there. Don't get me wrong. If you want to get your bougie on, you can do it at Jekyll Island. Back in the day, it didn't used to be quite as developed. It was where the young, beautiful people used to go out and, when they were in Glenn County, the federal law enforcement training centers there in Glenn County. I've actually been in this area. I've never been out to Jekyll Island, with the young, beautiful people that used to do the frolicking out here on the beach and whatnot. You're going to have to ask Mrs. Texas Paul about that. That was a bit before we met. Not that I'm jealous. But yeah, it's a beautiful place. There are resorts there. It is historic. And there's a reason I'm talking about this, folks. Hang in there. There's a reason I'm talking about it. It's just beautiful. It is a beautiful island. Maybe one day I will go there. Full of historic old buildings. Just a really gorgeous place to visit and vacation. And I got to tell you, it's like I said, it used to be where the young, beautiful people would hang out and frolic. But now it like I say, it's very developed, some beautiful resorts. It's just a nice place. And, you'll get older folks that go there too, like Ken Yeager. This is Ken Yeager. Ken Yeager heads the Republican Caucus up in Tennessee. Yeah, he looks like a fun guy, doesn't he? Just looks like a fun guy. Well, he was down in on Jekyll Island getting his drink on. This is what MAGA was doing. Yeah, had a hit and run. I'll show you how drunk he was. Didn't just have an accident, actually ran, was arrested. This is his field sobriety test. Before I start this, you'll notice this is from the Krasensteins. They are now on Blue Sky. Love them or hate them. I've actually never had a problem with the Krasensteins. A lot of people have beef with these guys. I don't get it. I don't do drama. Tends to be some good information to pick out from them. And they shared old Ken Yeager's sobriety test. And yes, that is Ken Yeager pissing all down his own leg during the field sobriety test. I'll play it with the audio. You have to forgive me. It's just a diesel truck in the background, but it helps add to the reality of what's going on there. Yeah. That's MAGA for you, baby. Drunk, drives drunk, has a wreck, runs, denies it, then pisses all over himself in his field sobriety test. I mean, that's just, hey, the best people. Meanwhile, while, that's what MAGA was up to, this is what old Joe was up to. Boom. 227,000 new jobs last month. That on top of earnings reports from every major corporation they were looking for are strong as hell. I mean, the economy is booming. Absolutely booming. What can you say, folks? What can you say? That's just Democrats. I mean, Democrats versus Republicans. I mean, Democrats out doing the job. Oh, Ken Yeager, he's out running his mouth all the time about the superiority of Republicans and why we Democrats are the problem. But, seems to me we Democrats are always just doing the damn job, getting it done, while the Republicans are out, I don't know, pissing down their own legs. Way to go, Joe. Way to go. And I do want to take a second to apologize. That was a very gratuitous thumbnail we had today. I am sorry about that. Thank you, ET. I appreciate the support, my man. I do. Thank you. You're always here to hit it. Everyone hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet. And then so yeah, we're about to bust 100,000. We're right there. We're right on the edge of it. Thank you, ET. I appreciate you for always being there, supporting the show, man. Deb Powell says, thank you for all you do to encourage us and teach us so we can maintain unity in American democracy. I got to tell you, folks. Yeah, all right, let's put a pause on it for a second. Last night was a good night. I am telling you. You keep asking me, Paul, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We've got an election in 11 months. We do. It's an off year election. The Republicans lick their chops at those off year elections. They love those elections because we don't show up. And I tell you, last night talking to you're talking about precinct chairs. You're talking about the people where the rubber meets the road in these elections. And they were all just really flabbergasted because, here in Texas, we had about 600,000 registered Republicans that didn't show up. We had 1.6 million registered Democrats that didn't show up. And they're desperately trying to figure out how to reach people. And I'm telling you, it's not that they're not reaching out to you. It's that you folks aren't joining with them. Just calling it out. It's just the way it is. These people bust their asses. They're working hard, man. They're a part of the community. Hell, they were doing a charity coat drive last night, and it was a good time. I got to tell you, these people can cook. I mean, it was some of the best brisket I ever had. It was a good time. It was a good time. Do it. Just pick up the phone, and I promise I won't beat this horse to death, but pick up the phone. Google Democratic Party and the name of your county or parish. There's somebody there that does it. That was the initiative here in Texas. We actually had some counties that didn't have Democratic chair. Every county has a Democratic Party, and they're just looking for people to do the work, man, to get it done. And it's a good time, folks. It really is. You want to hang, how good a time you have here hanging out in the live chat with people that are smart, informed, that know what was going on. When I was giving my speech that's why I don't have a voice. I was giving a speech last night. When I was giving my speech last night, I do that thing where I say, hey, how many people, what do you think? How many claims did United Healthcare wrongly deny? And everybody knew. 90%. Everybody knew. These are smart, informed people. They really are. Lori, thanks for the support. I really appreciate you. I really do. Thank you. But yeah, I wanted to apologize for the thumbnail. Take a break here to apologize for the thumbnail. I know it's gratuitous. It is. You got to forgive me. I was out late last night and yeah, but I'm not even really going to apologize for it because she's completely AI. She's supposed to represent Jekyll Island. There's a lot of driftwood there. It's beautiful. And I asked for a beautiful young blonde woman in a bikini on a white beach that was supposed to represent Jekyll Island. Yeah, I'm not worried about AI anymore. I'm really not worried about AI taking over the world anymore. Because apparently AI's idea of beauty is a blonde woman that, her left eye is the wrong size and pointing the wrong direction. And apparently she has a broken collarbone. I shouldn't laugh. I don't know what's going on here, but she's got a big dent right here that I've never seen that on a human being before. Arms longer than LeBron James. She's got two hands down here growing out of her left thigh, and then her left hand is a crab claw, apparently. And her thighs are like this long, and her calves are like this long. I just try to imagine what AI thinks she looks like walking. I mean, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. But the coup de grace is if you look really close at the picture down here, you can see her left foot is starting to peek out. Apparently, her left foot is this long. So, yeah, it was gratuitous. It was, but it was... Oh my God. I am not worried about AI anymore. I am not worried about AI taking over the world anymore. Well, look, we got a big case of I told you so. A big case of I told you so going on. You got Mike Lee, who's coming out. Folks, that's hilarious, Dina Jean. That's perfect. Thought she was the hit and run victim. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. Thanks. I appreciate you. I really do. I love you people so much, man. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Well, look, on to something serious. Jeff Tespy says, Texas Paul, technology improves and advances. Remember when we had 4K modem dial-up? Yeah, Maya. I remember, brother. I was there. And it's funny you should say that because it's a perfect segue to what we're about to talk. But the alternate title for this morning is Gen X stupid. That was the title. I decided not to go with that. Because the short answer is, is Gen X the stupidest generation? No, they're no dumber than any other generation, but they are a disappointment because we expected of ourselves that we were going to be better. We were going to be better than our forefathers. We were going, we were the first generation that really, thanks, Mary, I appreciate you. We were the first generation that really had cell phones. We were the first generation, that really had personal computers. We were the ones that said, the problem is it's a lack of access to information. That's the problem. Yeah, that wasn't the problem. That wasn't the problem. We know that wasn't the problem. But it turns out Gen X is just like every other generation. You've got one subset of people that are like you people that pay attention, that understand that you've got to have actual knowledge. You've got to know that 227,000 jobs were created this month. So some billionaire jackass can't convince you that, the Republicans are great on the economy and the Democrats are terrible on the economy, which was one of the most heartbreaking. I've been looking at the exit polling coming out of the last election, and that was really one of the most heartbreaking answers. When they asked people that voted for Trump, why did you vote for Trump? A huge number of them, it had nothing to do with Trump or liking Trump. It was just a generic, well, the Republicans are better on the economy and the economy's bad. Well, no, it's not. The economy's freaking amazing, for one thing. And two, the Republicans suck on the economy. I mean, that's just a matter of data. It just is. It's a matter of data. And you people understand it, but there's always a subset, that is, I hate to say it, but it's the majority that just don't have a freaking clue. Politics is nowhere in their lives. We were talking about this last night. And how we had to get over talking to each other. I don't just say this stuff to you folks. We were talking about, when I talk to the Democratic Party, this is what I'm talking about. Look, we're talking to each other. We're people that understand things. Now we have to learn how to talk better to people that, all they care about is what's the best barbecue joint in town. Who's got beer on sale? Are the price of my smokes going up? We got to figure out how to talk to these people. We do, because they believe the stupidest crap. Anyways, didn't mean to get off on a diatribe on that. But it's important. It's important because of things like this. If you're a longtime viewer of the show, you remember I did a segment on Mike Lee and I did a segment on Social Security. And again, I will start with the caveat. If you are on social, I am not a fearmonger. I don't do that. If you are on Social Security, even this proposal that we're going to talk about right now today, which is what Mike Lee came out and talked about, they are not talking about taking your Social Security if you're already enrolled. They're talking about taking mine, Gen X. That's why I say we're I ask, are we the stupidest generation? Because Sherry Foster's here. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate you being here. Thanks. I appreciate you, Sherry. I appreciate you keeping the show running. I appreciate it. Can't do it without you folks. That was the rule when I started it. Miss Tex Paul says it's got to pay for itself. And when it comes to money, I trust her implicitly. So yeah, thank you. But back to what I was talking to you about Gen X. What did we always say? There's a lot of you folks in here are Gen Xers. You're my age. What did we always say? Oh man, they're taking our, making us pay that Social Security. It ain't going to be there for us. They're just taking that money from us. It ain't going to be there. And then what did we do? Overwhelmingly in the last election, we voted to make that happen. We bitched about it forever that, that Social Security better be there. I paid for it. And then In this election, when it was clear cut, when I was running, I ran a segment on my show that had Bill Lee. Pardon me, I said Bill. I keep calling him Bill Lee. I was thinking about Tennessee again, and then Tennessee Republicans. Sorry, had Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee, sitting there talking to his donors, saying, "We're going to get rid of that Social Security. We're going." What did he say today? We're going to rip it out by the roots. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. He wrote a thread, and over on that, I don't have it because I don't do X, but people are posting it to other social media. And I've got screenshots of their posts. But yeah, this is Mike Lee goes on a multi-post diatribe about how Social Security is just a ripoff, and they're going to rip it out by the roots. His words, not mine. His words, not mine. So yeah, I've been sitting here slamming my head on the desk all damn morning because, we were supposed to be different. We were the generation that we were going to put down racism. We were going to say, we're not going to be like our parents. Todd's, there you go. Gen X is racist. The black, white, and other shades of parents taught us very well. How did that happen? We were the generation that were going to end that. And that's why I say, Randy Oliver says, look, Little Bush took over $3 trillion from Social Security, just pay it back with interest. Yeah, no kidding, right? They've been raiding Social Security forever to supplement a budget so that they can have tax cuts for their Johnny Got Rocks Republican donors. Every time we hit a debt ceiling, they make us give them another tax cut for their Johnny Got Rocks donors. And they rob Social Security's trust fund every damn year to cover that crap. And again, I'm gonna say it again. What did we say? What did we say? Clean up your own backyard first. Gen X, my people. What did you say? You were going to make sure you paid into it. You were getting it. And then you voted to kill it. Because that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Is they're absolutely going to do exactly what they've been telling us they're going to do, which is the next generation. They're going to raise the age super high, like 76, 78 years old, before you qualify. And then they're going to phase it out completely. That's what they're saying they're going to. Not me. Ask Mike Lee. Ask the Republicans. That's what they're telling you. All right, Italy in the house. All right. I was bragging on this last night. Joseph, thank you for being here, man. I appreciate you. I was bragging on this last night, how our audience is incredibly international. We have people from all over the world. We get opinions from all over the world. Yeah, this is one that blows my mind. Contessa, thank you for saying this. Stop calling it an entitlement. I got one even better for you. How about everybody learn what an entitlement is? If you go to McDonald's, this is the example I always use. If you go to McDonald's and you go to the drive-thru and you order a hamburger, okay, that hamburger is not an entitlement. But when you get to that first window and you hand them your credit card and you pay for that hamburger, yeah, that hamburger is an entitlement because you are entitled to it. You have paid for it. There's nothing wrong with the word entitlement. It's just one of those words that there's nothing wrong with it. They try to make like woke. I'm woke as fuck. You damn right I am, because the opposite of woke is stupid. Hell yeah, I'm woke. I know what's going on. Same thing with entitlement. It's just something you're owed that you paid for. You're entitled to it. And here comes Gen X, man. overwhelmingly voting to make sure that that thing that they voted for, that one thing that they've complained about and said their whole lives, I'm so pissed off, I got to pay for this. It ain't going to be there when I get there. Well, what do Democrats do? Make sure it's going to be there. You're going to get it. We're doing everything we have to do to make sure it's going to be there. All we have to do is raise the cap on what we tax. There's a cutoff on how much of income gets taxed for Social Security. All we have to do is raise that a little bit and get the rich folks to pay a little bit more into that. And that's one of the ways that they cover you with BS and screw you. It's Social Security. You pay a huge portion of your income, you're taxed on. But rich people, it's just a small fraction because there's a cutoff. There's a cutoff as to how much of it gets taxed. Just raise the cap. But instead, Gen X says, I'm gonna vote for them Republicans that are going to take it away from me. Screw that, man. Screw that. I had somebody link to me an article, and I didn't put it up here. You're just going to take my word on it. It's from The Hill. And I've seen so many bad takes, just horrible takes. And while we're doing this, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button if you would. Let's get some more people in here. I know it's a slow news day, but we need more people talking about this stuff. And Brian Peach, you're keeping the porch light on up here in Canada. Thank you, my man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I do. Who knows? We may be in the same country one day. That's a joke, Brian. That's a joke. Let me apologize again to the people of Canada for the stupid shit that this president is going to say for the next 4 years. I am truly sorry. I am truly sorry. Michael Z says, Social Security advice, wait until full retirement age, FRA to go on Social Security, otherwise claiming it before FRA is taxed. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And the longer you wait, the better off you are. It's true. It's 100% true. 100%. Thank you. Great advice. Great advice. I am not a financial consultant. Neither is he. Talk to a professional, and they'll tell you the same thing. Wait as long as you can. Now, if you have a chronic illness and you're going to die, take it. But, again, that's advice somebody else will give you. Yes, Neuropilot. Exactly. I love it when they call me woke. Go woke, go broke, my ass. Woke just means I can count. But this is what drives me nuts about Gen X. Gen X also, they hate Obamacare. If you talk to them, about 60% of them hate Obamacare, but they really like the Affordable Care Act. They really like the Affordable Care Act. They want to get rid of that Obamacare, though. You know what I'm talking about. You know how dumb that is. But it's more than that. It is more than that. I was reading an article somebody sent me. You folks are great about doing stuff like that on social media and emails and whatnot. You always send me good information. It was from The Hill, and it was one of the worst takes I have seen. I've been not only reading good information like, the actual exit polling, but I've also been reading the bad takes also, because that's how you know the narratives you need to get ahead of. And one of the bad takes that the billionaire corporate media is pushing is that in this 50-50 election, that we Democrats need to learn our lesson. We keep, literally called us lemmings in this article, called us lemmings. We keep running to the left and losing them elections. And there ain't nobody in that radical left party that'll stop us. So we're doomed. My ass. Kiss my spotty fat ass. There's nothing. First of all, the Democratic Party is not a left party. Can somebody tell me a policy that the Democratic Party has implemented in the modern era that is left? Name one. And I'll knock one down right away before we even get there. In this conversation that I was having, when I asked that question, one of the things that came back was student loan debt forgiveness. No, that's not left. I'm sorry, folks. That's not left. It's not. And no, Social Security. I see your post there. Great. I'm glad to see the ACA there, but about Social Security, that's not in the modern era. I'm sorry, folks. That's coming up on a century old now. We're closer to, it's like 70 something. How old is Social Security? It's like 70 something years old now. Yeah, that's not the modern era. It's not. But one of the things they said was, like I said, student debt forgiveness. And I was like, no, that's not left. That's not left. The system that creates the debt. Sure, some people, not everybody. Some people got some forgiveness, but the system that creates that debt, much faster than we're forgiving it. There are kids in college right now today racking up that same debt. We didn't change that system. We didn't. All we did was give out a little help, a little support. And that, my friends, was what the exit polling really told us. There was not a clear differentiation between the parties for the people that aren't like us. That are, Spicy Justice says, brain rot, supposed deterioration of a person's mental and intellectual state resulting from the overconsumption of trivial material, especially stuff from the internet, sums up MAGA to me. And you are dead on, sir. You are 100% right. Because they're not paying attention to the important things that are going on. They're paying attention to dumb things, the shiny objects. But yeah, I mean, folks, the student debt forgiveness thing was not left. It wasn't. I'm sorry. We are a right of center party. Somebody put the Affordable Care Act. Great question. Great comment. Is that a left policy? That is the government establishing exchanges for corporations to sell for-profit insurance with just a few regulations. Not even a lot of regulations, just a few regulations. That's not left. That's way right of center. Our European audience, explain to them what a centrist government is. We are so far right of center as the Democratic Party. Where's this left they're talking about? We're so far from running off the left cliff, we can't even see the left cliff. What we do have is a radical right party funded by billionaires spinning this nonsense in order to influence our frame of mind, to frame the narrative of all the discussions going forward. Y'all are radical, lefty, communist, socialist. Well, God, give me some of that socialism, man. I ain't seeing any. Have you seen any? By the way, the cutoff right now for Social Security is 160,000, a little over 160,000. They could raise that to 250. Taxable income up to 250. It would affect almost no one, but it would make a huge impact on the amount of revenues because those few people would pay so much more. And yeah, Social Security would be just fine. They could raise it to $500,000. They could raise it to $1 million in income and tax that. I mean, y'all knew that, right? That those rich guys aren't paying taxes into Social Security, right? I mean, it cuts off at like 160. Everything above that, They're millions and millions and millions. They don't pay into Social Security on that like you do. You know, you're making what, $50,000, $70,000 a year, maybe 100 if you're doing real good. You're paying 100% of your income is taxable, not theirs. So yeah, I'm still looking and I'm reading the comments. You should see I'm looking down. I'm reading your comments. I'm looking for that leftiness that they're talking about. These radicals that are just can't stop us. No, man. No. The exit polling is really clear on this election. First of all, there's a lot of people out there that are clueless about politics. And I promise you, I would quit calling them stupids. But they know nothing about what we're talking about. Nothing. And so many people walked out of that booth thinking, I voted Republican for the economy. What, to wreck it? To wreck it? Because that's what happens under every Republican administration. Christy Light says, we talk about policy, they talk about petty grievances. Amen, sister. Preach it. Howl it for the people in the back. Maybe corporate media should reevaluate their reporting rather than blaming everyone else. Look, people are waking up to this, and I'm so glad. The corporate media is our enemy. They are against Democrats. They are. It's not just Fox. It's not just, it's all of them. It's all of them. It's not a Democratic messaging problem. It is a messenger problem. They will talk about the stupidest. And if you don't believe me, where did the Gaza coverage go? I mean, do you think shit quit blowing up in Gaza? No, it didn't. But the journalists are gone. The press is gone. Why? Election's over. Election's over. And this is how bad it is, folks. You know, talking about the lefties. So I went and pulled this up. This is going to make our European audience, our international audience, our Australian, African, Asian audience just laugh their asses off. This is a chart of administrative costs for health insurance. And you know, our health insurance is private, right? The least expensive administrative costs for our health insurance are in the government run. Medicare is the most efficient system in the country. It is. But because we're also carrying this private insurance system, yeah, this red line down here, that's our administrative costs per capita every year. That's not money spent on healthcare. No. You know, United Healthcare is in the news because their CEO just got shot. They just announced $6 billion in profit last year. Profit. Now that's $6 billion that didn't go into hospitals, nurses, healthcare, drugs, nothing. That went into Johnny Got Rock's pocket. This is how we do it. Yeah, it's insane. And what is Gen X doing? My generation, they're voting for this crap as hard as they can because they don't need none of that lefty socialism. They don't need none of that lefty socialism. No, they do not. I'll tell you what else they apparently don't need is they don't need their VA health care either. Because Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, not only is Elon Musk promoting old Mike Lee's slashing of Social Security, this is their proposed budget cuts. Yeah, VA healthcare right at the top. $119 million gutted out of VA healthcare. Republicans are also talking about privatizing the VA again. Boy, that'll be useful, won't it? Let's go ahead and do to the VA what we do to the rest of our healthcare. Let's take somebody that has no business being there, put them between the doctor and you, whose only purpose is to make profit. Now, folks, that's not hyperbole. They'll tell you. They will tell you. It's what they teach at Wharton. What is the purpose of a corporation? To make money for their investors. That's it. No, their purpose isn't the manufacturing of their product or the selling of their service or whatever. No, that is how they achieve their purpose. Their purpose is to make money for their investors. And Republicans are going to take, just like they do with prisons, just like they do with everything else that the government should run, they're going to take and they're going to shove that entity in between you and your doctor. And now if you're a veteran, they're going to do it to you too. Sorry, I wish I could tell you different, but I'm not going to lie to you. They want that in there, in the equation. And we've seen, can somebody tell me the purpose of a health insurance company? They don't make healthcare more efficient. They don't make the care better. They don't make the outcomes better. Our outcomes are worse. Can anybody tell me the purpose of a health insurance company? I can't. And here we have, and I'm going to keep calling out my generation. Clean up your own backyard first. You millennials, Gen Z, whatever you want to be, even you cool old boomers that aren't the bad ones. Clean up your own generation. I'm calling Gen X out really hard today because we were not supposed to be this. We were not. We were the information generation. We were the screw you generation. We ain't doing it. And what did you do? You turned into the same bigots and the same morons that your mama and daddy were. Yeah, I called your mama and daddy moron. I did. And this, and just blows my mind. Just blows my mind. I can't tell you this kid's name because he's the one that he named like all the crazy alphanumeric, whatever this kid's name is. I have no freaking clue what this kid, I don't know how to pronounce that. This is your Dogme. This is the this is the Speaker of the House of the United States of America. And these are the two billionaire morons that are running Doge. Remember, named after his Bitcoin gimmick. The committee that just decided, yeah, it's a good idea. Let's take away $120 million out of the VA. Let's do that. And they're having a meeting with a freaking kid. Take your kid to work day, I guess. Our government's a freaking clown show right now, folks. It is a freaking clown show right now. And I just, I don't mean to be negative. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. I normally like to do the show to make sure I leave you excited and fired up. And, what I can tell you about this, they suck. They're going to suck. This is the one thing, this was the theme, again, talking about last night. This was the theme with the Hunt County Democrats. They are all fired up. They are ready because they know how bad this is going to be. And every one of them is ready to ride that backlash. The minute those VA cuts go into action, they're going to be screaming down at the VFW. And what I was so proud of is they got it. 35 million people voted for Trump. 34 million people voted for Kamala Harris, but 31 million people didn't vote. And not one of those Democrats were talking about, well, we need to reach them Republicans. No, they get it. You need to suppress that Republican vote. That's what it's about. You're not going to change their mind. You know, them old dudes that, you know, they're wearing the MAGA hats that are getting their VA healthcare and their Social Security, when they start chopping on that stuff, they're not going to say, you know, do some self-reflection and say, I was wrong. I ought to go vote Democrat. Them Democrats were on the... No, man. No. Most human beings would rather die than admit they're wrong. They're going to come up with an excuse, but they are going to be disheartened and they are going to be pissed. And that's what you want to rub in their faces. Ride that backlash, because those people will stay home in the next election. And that's what the best you can hope with MAGA. They are lost. They are broken people. You will not reach them by talking to them. You will not reach them by talking about, you know, reality, because they don't live in reality. They've never lived in reality. They don't. I say never. In our modern era, they haven't lived in reality. Exactly. Millennials, call each other out, man. Thank you for the support. The devil that you're always here, brother. I appreciate you supporting the show. Call your own generation out. Yeah, no kidding. From doge to douche, because that's exactly what's going on. That is going on. I saw somebody post something about flat earth. Pause the show for a second. Did you know they actually dug into this? Because they're like, how the hell can people think that the earth is flat? And it turns out they don't. The majority of flat earthers don't think the world is flat. It's like the overwhelming majority of anti-vaxxers out there are really not anti-vax when you actually start having conversations with them. They understand. You know, words like global are in their lexicon. You know, globe, round, globe. They get sailing around the world. They're not really flat earthers. They're just this subset of society that is so mentally broken. They just want to reject something. I'm not even kidding. Look it up. They have been doing psychological profiles on these people because they're trying to figure out how the hell did we got into this kind of trouble. And they're finding out that flat earthers don't really believe the world is flat. They just identify with this subset that wants to reject scientific norms. They think they're smart enough. I just think they're crazy. But that's just me. That's just me. Well, we've got a couple other things. I'm going to move on from this. I beat the hell out of this horse. It's deader than a doornail. We've actually had something else happen that's just, it's heartbreaking. If you remember this, if you remember what happened to Tyre Nichols, Tyre Nichols got pulled over, and the cops escalated the situation. They turned violent. They put their hands on Tyre Nichols. They pepper sprayed Tyre Nichols for no reason. They've had trials over this. There was no reason to escalate this stop, but they did. They did. And Tyre Nichols panicked and ran. And he was running home to his mom's house. And he died within sight of it. 5 officers ran him down and beat him to death in the street while he screamed for his mother, begged for his mom. They laughed. Then they propped him up against a car and watched him die. Over a traffic stop. And the DOJ, in all their infinite wisdom, has determined that the Memphis Police Department has a problem. The key takeaway from this was that, yes, they're violent. They escalate these situations way too often, way too quickly. And they do it to black people, not white people. That was the screaming thing that, to me, should have been the frickin' headline. Same cops, same situations. White people, they don't put their hands on. Black people, they escalate to violence almost immediately. Almost immediately. These officers were black to the man, to the last man that beat Tyre Nichols to death. They were black. This is institutional. You know me, folks. I'm a pragmatist. I'm a realist. I will tell you, cops are human beings, and you take a human being and they make an executive decision. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. But, folks, yeah, no kidding, right? He's just going to make it to where you can't touch him for this. But, when I talk about police, I talk about it very pragmatically. You take any human being and then you make an executive decision that you're going to take the overwhelming majority of them and you're going to shove them into a poor black neighborhood. And you're going to have them do excessive numbers of stops, which is what the DOJ found here is exactly what they did. They picked a poor black area of town and they rammed an overwhelming number of their cops into that area and did massive numbers of traffic stops. If you take a human being that's not broken and not screwed up, and you put them in that situation where they're seeing one type of person over and over and over and over again, and you're asking them to pick at it, to cause these confrontations, cause these stops. Those people are going to become broken people very quickly. They're going to become people that can't reason. They're going to become people that, look, these were black officers. All 5 of them were black officers that beat Tyre Nichols to death. Laughed while he was crying for his mama. Because it's systemic. It's what we're doing to these people. Folks, I am telling you, I live in Hillbillyville. If you took the entire police force and you put them out here and you said, stop every car, there would be so many white DUIs and meth busts and violent takedowns. And in 6 months, those cops would hate white folks. They would look at us like we are animals. That's what happens to human beings when you do that. And they end up broken. And that's what our police departments are. They're full of people that went in to serve the public. A lot of them didn't. A lot of them went in for the wrong reasons, have propensities to violence to begin with, and are broken people to begin with. But a lot of them went in wanting to serve. And you put them in the shittiest situations and deal with the crappiest situations. And then you wonder why, how could this happen? You're a professional police officer. Well, for the last 10 years, I've been staring at nothing but poor black folks and dealing with nothing but the worst situations with poor black folks. So now I think all black people are the absolute worst of what poor black folks are. And we wonder how we get here. And when you approach police departments with that basic open frame of mind, they go on the defensive. One second. Spicy Jester says 2008. Thank you for the support, by the way, man. $20 is a lot of money, bro. In 2008, $5 trillion in pension money, real estate value, 401k was savings had disappeared. 8 million people lost their jobs. 6 million lost their homes. No regulations did this. Now corporate America will run our government. Amen. I'm telling you, that's one of the first things you're going to deregulate is the banks. We're going to do that crash all over again. We already have the housing bubble. Already. They're going to slash interest. Anyways, I don't want to get diverted on that. That's another show. But you're dead on, my friend. I just want to finish what I'm saying about cops. When you try to address these situations, the cops balk. And one of the reasons they balk isn't nefarious. It isn't. You and me, we ask cops to deal with violence and therefore be violent themselves. I'll say it again. You and I ask cops to deal with violence and therefore be violent themselves. And that is what the people that run these police departments look at you with glazed over looks in their eyes whenever you talk about curbing police violence. Because in their mind, we're asking them to. You know, like that scene from A Few Good Men with Jack Nicholson. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. You know, that's where their mindset is. Because we do. When a cop rolls up on a domestic and some guy's beating his wife to death, we ask that cop to put his hands on that man and get to work. We do. But then, when they mismanage that asset and they create a monster, their point of view to us is, oh, so now you want me to roll up a newspaper and smack him in the mouth for doing what you asked me to ask him to do. And that's the disconnect right there. And that's why I would tell you, this doesn't end not until we gut police departments, till we decapitate police management. This doesn't end until we recreate how we police. And we cannot do that when the people that run the police departments are committed to maintaining how we police. Because in their minds, and in some cases it's true, they know better than we do. But in some cases, it's not. In some cases, it's painfully obvious why you're failing, and you won't stop failing because you think you're under attack. Life's complicated, folks. Life is complicated. It really is. It really is. Oh, man, that is good. I don't know what coffee that is. Honey, you need to tell me what coffee. This changed brands on me. Oh, I am so fortunate. My wife brings me coffee 5 times during the show. She's amazing. She doesn't have to take care of me like that, but she does. We've got some really big breaking news. This is a cool video. If you don't follow Grogu on just about every platform, it's Grogu Speak NY City, New York City, or at Grogu Speak at Blue Sky. Also on Threads. Great account, really is, especially for what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on there. He's in very much, this account very much follows several good NatSec sources that and comes up with a lot of them. That's where this video comes from. Good follow. This is a cool video. Check this out.
دخول القوات باتجاه مدينة دير الزور من جسر الصالحية. هاي القوات العسكرية.
Recognize it. I love that part of it. Hold on. Let me back up just a little bit. I love that part of it. They took that from the Russians. Okay. Two things about this video. One, you remember all those Humvees we left in Iraq and we demilitarized and this and that? I don't know where the Kurds got all them Humvees. That's the Kurdish forces, folks, that you're seeing right there. That's the Kurdish forces. I am proud to announce to you that the Kurds are going to have a homeland. The Kurds are going to have their own homeland. They have fought for it and taken it. That is Raqqa. That is Raqqa. Go to the map. This is Syria. You recognize the region south of Turkey. The Kurds have been very much attacked by the Turkish. This region here in eastern Turkey, southeastern Turkey, northern Iraq, and eastern Syria. This is where the Kurds live. This is going to be Kurdistan. This is Raqqa, right here. What just happened there in Raqqa is the Syrian and Russian forces packed their shit and went home. They didn't put up a fight. The Kurds started rolling towards Raqqa because Syria is collapsing. And they went home. They withdrew. Here, this is where we're at, folks. Remember I told you the rebel forces had taken Hama here. Homs is the big fight. You notice Raqqa, there's a highway that goes from Raqqa to Homs. The Russians, they all fell back to Homs. They're going to try desperately to hold on to Homs. They are not. Hama's already fallen. Hama is in rebel control. Homs is going to fall next. Homs will be a fight. And this is why I talked about it this in the show the other day. You see the highway here that runs from Beirut and from Tripoli. There are highways that run directly to Homs. You cannot, this crossroads is the most important crossroads in all of Syria. If you control Homs, you control access, because here, let me add the mountains. Okay, you can see the mountains. You notice there's a valley here, but Beirut's on the coast, Tripoli's on the coast. It is difficult to move men and material through mountains. We have folks that are veterans here. They will tell you Resupply routes in the mountains are treacherous, highly treacherous. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. Again, this is Homs, and down here is Damascus. Damascus falls, Syria is gone. Okay, Homs. You have one route that goes down through the valley and then cuts through the mountains to Beirut in Lebanon. Not supportable. It's just not. If Homs falls, Damascus falls. There's one highway that runs south, skirts the mountains, and runs south to Damascus. But if Homs falls, that leaves one route through two mountain ranges to supply men, arms, and material to Damascus. And that's it. It's over. It is over. Strategically, when Homs falls, it's over. So, what do we know? What do we know? As of today, Kurdistan exists. It'll need to be nationally recognized, but that part of Syria is gone. Eastern Syria is now Kurdistan. It is. We have bases there. We've been supporting their Kurds. We didn't abandon them after Iraq. We didn't. The Republicans did. As soon as Joe Biden took office, we were supporting them again. Like I said, we have been having fights. They have been trying to attack our rear support bases, which are in northern Iraq. You remember when the Iranians were going to retaliate against Israel? One of their jihadi groups attacked one of our bases in northern Iraq. Yeah, that's supporting our operations. Iran supports Syria and Hezbollah, which are fighting together to try to keep Syria. Syria is falling. Hezbollah is going to fall back into Lebanon and try to keep their enclave in Lebanon. But pin this, mark my words, Russia is done. Their economy is in free fall. They're trying desperately, and their allies are desperately trying to prop up the ruble. It keeps plunging, and then they'll try to prop it back up, and it's plunging again. They'll try to prop it back up, and it's plunging again. The Russians cannot fight Ukraine. Hell, they had to bring in North Korean troops to fight in Ukraine. They don't have the budget, the material, or the men to save Syria. This is over. Homs is landlocked. There's a base there. There's a Russian base there, but Homs is landlocked. What needs to happen as quickly as possible is we need to have the United Nations recognize Kurdistan. We do. And that's a problem because the UN is way too footsie tight with Hezbollah. They're way too footsie tight with Hamas. I took a lot of shit for talking about that in previous shows, but the United Nations has a terrorist extremist problem. It does. They need to move. Yes, the Russians have abandoned Syria. They have. They have abandoned. We have moved our advanced anti-aircraft systems and stuff into place. They can't. They just cannot. They're not going to take this back. They just aren't. You saw all that equipment there that was really familiar to you. Yeah, that is. They're fighting with our equipment. We didn't just abandon the Kurds. We're there. So yeah, that's the good news that I want to leave you with today. Forgive me, we're not going to go quite as long today. I'm losing my voice. But yeah, that made me feel good about the world. We are looking at Kurdistan. And it's about damn time. Next, we need to come up with a nation for the Palestinian people. That's going to be trickier. Convincing them to change their path is going to be more difficult. But at least we're going to have a Kurdistan, which is good news. Good news. Well, I love you folks, but I'm losing my voice. It's starting to catch on me. So I'm going to call it quits. Please hit the subscribe button. We are almost we're about to break the 100,000 mark. We are there. We're right on the cusp of it. Oh yeah. Thanks for putting that out there again. Folks, I've talked about it before. On every social media platform, there will be clone accounts. They will literally download my images off my social media. They will literally create. There was one account that finally got taken down on Blue Sky that exactly duplicated my Blue Sky account. And they just changed one letter in my name. And people thought they were talking to me. I had one woman really pissed off because she thought we were like, having a thing. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. I got news for you. Mrs. Texas Paul runs my social media accounts with me. No. No. Please. I will never try to sell you crypto. That is not me. You know me, folks. Character is everything. Please be careful. Don't fall for these clone accounts. Don't. I'm not going to solicit you. If it's not at realtexaspaul.com, it's not me. It's not me. Anyways, I love you folks. Y'all have a great day. I enjoyed spending time with you. Last thing I'm going to say is, look, I had a wonderful time with the Hunt County Democrats last night. It is a good time, folks. It is. Reach out to your local Democratic Party. Do it so that you've got the ties, because we're going to have a lot of fighting to do. We've got an off-year election coming in 11 months. Let's do this. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.